I'm live. I'm live. Hello, hello. If anybody's watching, I'm going a little live than a little earlier than I thought. I was planning to go live around 1 when I decided to go live today. I wasn't going to go live today, but yeah, I ended up. Oh wait, hey up, Doc, you're right. I'm gonna have to put these boys on, aren't I? Just have my bins on so I can see. Why do we call glasses bins? Do you know, Simon? Why that nickname is used? That colloquialism. And is that only over here in the UK that bins is used? Or do people in the US say bins as well for glasses? Hello, Sam. Lovely to see you. I hope that you are feeling, if at least you're not on, if you're not feeling amazing, I hope that you're at least on the mend. Chris, hello, my love. You're right. So yeah, I've gone live a little bit earlier than I thought I would. Jen, hello, lovely to see you. Oh my goodness, what time is it for you, Jen? On the Oz side, I've not heard of bins for glasses before, or maybe it's a sort of an English thing, Chris. Yeah, I don't think I've ever heard anyone. That's true. I think it's only ever been English people that I've heard use the term bins, but I can't even work out if it's Southern England or North of England or if it's just generally all of England. But yeah, bins, put me bin. You know, am I chatting shit though? Am I just making that up? People do use that, don't they, Simon? You've heard that, right? Dustbin lids. Yeah, but why is it like dustbin lids as in Sam says, I'm off my tits a bit because I'm on some meds. Thank you, Angel. Do you know what, though? Sometimes, yeah, being off your tits on meds is good. I took some Valium when I had to go to my breast screening appointment a couple of weeks ago because I have to go in on my own because my husband couldn't come with me and there's a pandemic and I have hospital phobia and I'm going to the breast cancer clinic. So all of those things, I was like, so yeah, I popped a half of Valium, 5 milligrams of Valium, and it didn't completely take the anxiety away, but it did level me off so that I was able to cope with what I had to go and do. Because when I went to get my breast biopsy results last year, my husband came with me and I had 10 milligrams of Valium and I was traveling through time and space. It was amazing. But because I had to come back on public transport on my own with this appointment as well, and I had to be sort of navigating a hospital on my own, I didn't want to be like a space case. But yeah, there's something, lovely about that. It's Cockney slang. Dustbin lid. No, but I don't know what for. What the Cockney slang for bins comes from. Pain meds sound like a great idea. Are you okay, Butterfly More? Lovely to see you. Hello, Cat. Do you know what? Every time I see the word hello, typed with the little, without the H, Cat, it makes me think of the little blue caterpillar with the red scarf at the beginning of Labyrinth when yeah, you know the one, right? And he's like, hello, and I'm like, oh my god, he's so cute. I love him. But every time I hear that or see that typed, I think of that little caterpillar, and I love him. He's so cute. He's like one of my favorite characters in the film, and he's in it for 3 seconds, or not, a bit more than 3 seconds. But yeah, he's just so cute. I love him. I didn't have so far, touch wood, no, I got given the all clear, but I had to have biopsies because of our family history and lumps. I found lumps and I'm at risk, so I had to get stuff checked out, and then unfortunately I had to get stuff checked out again and get a follow-up appointment. So, but I'm okay. Marsha, hello, Marsha. So hey Chris, still kicking along here. How's your weekend going? Been meaning to message you. I was a message to Chris. So let's just see. So Chris has never heard of bins. What's Gregory's? Is that what you would call glasses, Chris? Is that a colloquial term for glasses? And if so, do you know why? What the story behind that is? I love these kinds of things. It's certainly used in the Midlands. Okay. I keep longing a bit. Oh, monging a bit. Are you in the UK, Sam? I keep thinking you're in the UK because, yeah, what's it? Cockney slang for slang? Henry. Who's Henry? Am I getting confused to who's a Henry? Oh, isn't bins short for binoculars? Cat. Yeah, I think you're right. Binocs. Yeah, bins. Yeah, that's probably what it is. Very well done. The mystery has been solved. Meow, 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 meow. Gregory Peck's Specs. Oh, yeah, that's another one. Gregory Peck's Specs. Yeah, that's never really used that one in my household because my dad's side is like proper Cockney. So I grew up with loads of Cockney rhyming slang, and it wasn't. I still use loads of it. Like I still use like, oh, it pens in here. Got enough pen in here. Proper go into like Cockney, how I used to really sound when I was younger. God, it pens in here. Pen and ink stink. And I still say use your loaf, like your loaf of bread, your head, use your brain. Like also loads of them. My mum, my sister, we all do. My dad uses it all the time. But yeah, it's funny when I'll use a word and it's with someone who doesn't know Cockney rhyming slang. And I don't know all Cockney rhyming slang. And there's loads of modern ones as well. Like Pete Tong is a very modern one generally because Pete Tong hasn't been around as long as Cockney rhyming slang has. So obviously Pete Tong wasn't. Pete Tong means for something to go wrong. It's gone bit Pete Tong. It's gone wrong. That didn't exist when I was a kid. But so I know some of the newer ones, but there's some newer ones I don't know at all. It's an evolving, it's a living, breathing thing, isn't it? Language, it evolves, even slang, which I love. I hate when people get so uppity, like that's not what that word means. And it's like, to an extent, if you're using it to describe something and you're using it incorrectly. So yesterday I used the example of people using the term anarchy incorrectly when a lot of people don't actually know what anarchy actually means. But then there's also people where you'd use a word and they're like, that's not what that means. But young people might be using it in a certain way and it's evolved. The use gets evolved, or people reclaim words that were used against them. Like I use the term queer to describe myself because it's a nice general term. And yeah, I was called queer as an insult in the 90s when I was trying to be brave and like walking hand in hand with my girlfriend down the street, which, you know, in the 90s, even in London, was still pretty scary. And yeah, it put me off trying, like, being open about who I was, you know, with. Like Kushti, yes, oh, Kushti. And that's another one. Hello, Tarot and Tattoos. Gives up and looks it up. Well, the internet thinks another word for glasses is spectacles, and that rhymes with another word for bin, which is receptacle. That's bollocks. I reckon it's binoculars, binocs, bins. Or both could be true, right? Sometimes it's two things that feed into it. Whistle and flute, suit, cockle and hen, 10, yep. Yeah, I've heard you say Pete Tong, Simon. I only know a few. Barry White, shy, talking a lot of Barry, yeah. One that gets used a lot by my dad and my mum. They're not together, but they obviously spent enough time together for my dad's Cockney terms to. And my mum grew up in London. She's like, Irish family, but grew up in London. And yeah, have a butcher's at that. Have a butcher's, which is weird because I'm vegan and I'll still say have a butcher's at that. Butcher's hook, have a look, take a look at that. And it's funny because when I say it, I could be speaking how I speak. But then I'll use a term about, did you hear about that thing that I was such and such? And go, here, have a butcher's at that. And the Cockney, you have to say it in the Cockney sort of accent. But it just comes in. It's just like a callback. It's just there in my brain from when I was younger. Have a butcher's at that, love. Oh. Hello, Vanmar. Lovely to see you again. So who the heck knows? Yeah, regarding the... Essex. Oh, you're in Essex, Sam. I think I remember you saying that a couple of years ago, and it's obviously just flown out of my brain. So it's funny how it's spread across the UK. Yeah, it is. It's interesting, isn't it? How it just travels, especially nowadays where we're all a lot more interconnected via the tinterwebs. Oh, do you know what? I'm already getting hot. I was doing a load of housework, and then I got dressed, and I was too warm, and then I was wandering about the house with just my dress on. And then I got a bit chilly. So I put this, why am I talking about I was a bit warm, so I didn't have a cardigan on. And then I got a bit cold. So then I put my cardigan on. And now I'm a bit warm, so I'm taking my cardigan off. Primo content coming from this channel. Anyway, you got chucked off. You got chucked off of what? It's because I'm from Essex. As a kid, my mum would tell me to get up the apples and pears. Yep, apple and pears, stairs, dog and bone, phone, all the classics. There's a few sort of like sort of more obscure ones as well. But yeah, it's good stuff. Oh, Tintery. You got kicked off of the internet because you're from Essex. What? Up the north of Scotland, they say loonies and is it queens or quines for girls and boys? Loonies and they call girls loonies. So yeah, one of my favourite boar bag. You great boar bag in a reet. Okay, so anyway, wow. 10 minutes of trying to work out where bins came from for glasses and talking about Cockney rhyme slang. So we've got a few people in here. Let's get chatting, shall we? Well, we've already been chatting. Let's get into the meat and the potatoes. The Satan and the potatoes. The tofu and the potatoes. I'm trying to make it vegan. You're near Southend now. Up the north. Oh, I've already read that one. What are you laughing at, Chris? Neeps and tatties. You're laughing at my Scottish accent. So anyway, yeah. So I'm just looking for my post-it. I think this is the post-it that I wanted to. Okay, so yeah, I wanted to yesterday when I went live, about 20 minutes before I ended the live stream, the live chat stopped scrolling for me. So I didn't know if I was still live or if it had just gotten stuck, or if people were just bored and not commenting, which is highly possible. Oh, boar bag. You great boar bag. Thick off your shite. And brilliant. I love that when I've got a couple of Scottish friends, who say brilliant. It's like a W with the L, brilliant. And yeah, so to look back at the chat to see what had happened after the fact. And the chat had indeed carried on scrolling, and I couldn't reply to anyone because it wasn't showing up. So that was such a shame, but I got to see your comments afterwards. But there were a couple of things that I was talking about, a couple of people were commenting on. One of the things was that someone in the chat, Laura, she was saying, because I was talking about how questioning why I was buying decks and why some of us might buy decks, and what are the looking at our our motivations and all sorts of stuff like that. And Laura said, you can't make value judgments on the size of people's collections, because just because someone has a large collection, it doesn't mean that they're trying to fill a void. And just because someone has a small collection, it doesn't mean that they're lacking. So I was saying, if I had, we were talking about consumerism, and then it's a sign of, doing well. And if I got rid of loads of decks, does maybe subconsciously I'm like, well, I'm lacking, And I wanted to just make it clear, I absolutely agree with Laura. And I've always said this because there's been, contentious discussions around the size of people's deck collection, or how many decks people have, and how many decks people have, that's their business and no one else's, quite frankly. And I was just talking from my perspective as someone who gets very overwhelmed by stuff, but then getting very frustrated that I was struggling to go through my collection and finding stuff to then get rid of and release. And I was saying it was weird because it was coming off the back of this year in lockdown. And I think maybe because of that uncertainty and that stress and that, not and having less security monetarily, because I haven't been able to work for a year, it's maybe made me feel the need to sort of hold on to material things. Whereas at the beginning of 2020, I had set aside loads of decks and was very cavalier. And I thought, and I was trying to sort of unpack, because I'd been mulling over about it, and I was just sort of talking about it. But also for others who might be feeling the same, and other people that feel overwhelmed by stuff, or were feeling like their buying was out of control, or they feel that they were buying and then they would buy something and then you'd feel good for a little bit and then you'd feel hollow, and then you were looking for the next deck if you want to question that, because there's nothing wrong with questioning that. But it also doesn't mean that people with large collections having a problem, not at all, and that people with small collections are either maybe not that interested in tarot, or don't have good, or not very good readers, or they're lacking somehow. That's bullshit, because then that becomes very sort of like, becomes an issue of the haves and have-nots, and a monetary issue. You know, I jokingly say, like, I haven't bought many decks in the last 2 years, partly for, you know, having done a depth year, and it really has changed the way that I consume things, not just tarot, but all sorts of things. But also it's because I haven't had the money to spend. You know, I can't shell out, especially with shipping and customs, and now with Brexit there's a whole other layer, so it just becomes very prohibitive. And so, you know, mass market decks are probably more of the way forward for me, unless Beth Little Red Tarot is stocking a certain, you know, independent. I just wanted to make it clear that I was talking from my own perspective. Obviously, I'm always talking from my own perspective, because that's the only perspective that I have, and I will always try to take on board other people's perspectives and ideas, and listen to other people's lived experiences. Obviously, when it comes to, like, just, you know, buying tarot decks, I can only really speak for myself, and that just to those who were also in a position where I was, where you were feeling a bit and confused and wanting to get rid of, but not sure why you were struggling, and it was just that. So, you know, people are collectors. There's a certain person in this chat right now who has a very extensive collection and is very much a person who collects stuff. I just know I'm not a collector, and it was getting out of control for me. It felt like I was spiraling out of control, and that's where I had to be self-aware. And, you know, and again, if someone has a really small collection, I had just a couple of tarot decks. I mean, I had the Osho Zen deck for several years before I bought the Canon Reed Witches Tarot and the Shaman Caselli Beginners Tarot set around the same time. I think I bought those quite closely to each other. I think I got those in like 99, 2000 maybe. I don't know. I feel like I was already doing my degree when I bought those. But the Osho Zen, which I bought in like 96, 97, no, it must have been about 90. I always say 96. I think it's 97. I think I get confused because I think I was 16, so my brain goes 96, but I was 16, so I was actually 16 in 97. It's the 6 that's throwing me off. So yeah, I only had one deck for at least 3 years. I didn't even know what Rider-Waite-Smith or Thoth or Marseille was. I just looked at this deck, went through the cards in the little plastic sheets. In Mysteries in Covent Garden, they had examples of, you know, they had like a sheet of about 9 cards in a folder, for 9 cards from each deck that they had in stock. And I just flipped through, and the one that appealed to me was the Osho Zen. I didn't know that there was all these different systems. I was just going, ooh, pretty artwork. You know, I love the Osho Zen. That deck will always be in my collection because it was my first love. And it was the only one I read with for years. Even after I got the Shaman Caselli and the Canon Reed, I was so used to reading with the Osho Zen, and so sort of got struggling with the Canon Reed tarot is pretty tricky. There's a lot of Kabbalah in that, and I found that quite confusing. And then the Beginner's Tarot, the book with that's really good, and the deck is basically a sort of redrawing by what's his name, Caselli. What's his first name? Riccardo Caselli, maybe, I can't remember. He redrew the Smith Waite, so it's basically a re-rendering of it. But I bought that because all the other tarot decks that I had obviously were referencing the Rider-Waite-Smith deck. So yeah, so I thought I had 3 decks until 2014, 2015. So I had, from 97 to 99, 2000, I had 1 deck. Yeah. So then, that's like, well, 24. So more than, 20, I can't count. What's 97 to, so like for at least 14, 4, 5, 6, 7. So for at least 17 years, I had like 3 or less decks. Oh, simpler times though. My goodness, simpler times. Anyway, that was a bit of a side rant, but that was me just wanting to address that. And then Wood Thrush Cottage, Diane was saying that, because I was talking about how we sometimes, and it was linked to this, is that sometimes we mistake the decks that we buy or the books that we buy for, we feel like they're buying, sometimes we're going to buy it with all the good intentions, and that once I have this particular deck, it will teach me these kinds of lessons, and I will do this this kind of, I'll get this certain thing out of it, whatever that thing that you're looking to get out of that deck or book or workshop is. But I was saying, and I'll grab it again because I was reading by my bedside because I was reading it last night. Is the Psychic Witch book, which I keep picking up all the time, but it's so good. This has got 93 exercises in it, and you know, I can buy this book and read it, but unless I do the exercises in it, I'm not going to get out of it what I want. So I could buy it, you know, no matter how many tarot decks I buy, the tarot deck is the tool, okay? So I have to do the Giovanni, that's it, Giovanni Caselli, not Riccardo. I'm getting confused with Riccardo. There's another Italian artist that works with Lo Scarabeo that I'm thinking of. That's Riccardo Minetti, maybe? I can't remember. But yeah, I think I was, because I've got so many decks, I can't work with all of them. It's overwhelming, and there's only so, I can't go deep as I want with all of them, because if I've got 100 decks and I want to go deep with every single deck, I mean, it's just me. For me, it overwhelms me just thinking about that amount of work. So I think it's sometimes easier for me to simplify and strip stuff back, but also because yeah, for me, I was buying all these decks and I was like, this will be the one, this will be the one, this will be the one that will teach me the thing that I need. And it's like, actually just grab a deck and just get stuck in, you know, stop overthinking it. Just stop thinking that a particular deck is going to be doing the thing for you. You're the one doing the work. Just do the work. I think I'm not being very articulate, but that's what I'm trying to get across. But wood thrush, so I was saying like a video or a book, you know, so it's like self-help books. You can buy all the self-help books and read them, but unless you're applying those theories and practices into your daily life, it's not going to work, right? It just, the reading the book feels a little bit like doing, and you have all those good intentions. I've done it. Like, I'm not saying I'm perfect. I've done it loads. Bought a particular self-help book and read that and gone, yeah, I feel better already. I feel motivated already reading this book. And then you're like, well, that was good. Next. It's like this filling up on next self-help book. So yeah, but so what Diane was saying, that a friend of hers had shared a video about bullet journaling, a morning practice for bullet journaling, and I can't remember if it was linked to tarot or some kind of witchcrafty thing. And she was saying, I watched that video and I was so inspired that I started doing this practice every single morning. So a YouTube video genuinely did change my life, because saying a book won't necessarily change this won't necessarily change your life, or a tarot deck won't necessarily change your life, but without the work, right? Like if you get on a bicycle, you could sit on it. It's not going to go anywhere unless you pedal, right? You've got to do the work, unless it's one of those electric ones, obviously, because then... And so she was saying, so this YouTube video did change my life. But I wanted to say, well, Diane, the reason that video changed your life is that you watched it. But not only did you watch it, you've said that you've integrated that practice into your daily life. So you're doing the work. That's the point, right? You're doing the work, you know. Well, I'm saying that sometimes you can watch it. I feel like art can sometimes be quite life-changing. Watching a certain film or listening to a piece of music, or you know, experiencing something, like it can move you in a way, I don't know, that sort of feels very groundbreaking. Wow, let's go. I'm going to go back up and have a look at the chat, because it looks like some more people have popped in. How much are your tarot bags, sweets? It depends on the pouch, but I think I've landed on £25 per pouch. It's still probably a little less than I would like, but also at the same time I want people to afford them, but I can't undercharge, because otherwise I'm not making money off them, and the point is to, like, you know, actually make some money off of my labor. You all need to put the meaning with them for us USA people. Oh, what, the Cockney rhyming slang? There's like loads of like websites that will show you Cockney rhyming, lists of Cockney rhyming slang, Marsha. The constant comments I get bore me. I usually just remove now. Yeah, like it's no one's business, is it, Simon? Like your collection clearly brings you joy. And I know you work with tarot. Like you clearly work with tarot. You do your morning draws, you do your evening draws, you do your journaling. There could be someone there that only has 5 decks and doesn't ever touch them. You know what I mean? And I wanted to make clear that it's very much a personal thing for me. I get overwhelmed by stuff. I do. And if you're similar, maybe this would help. But I don't know if I really made that clear. So I was just clarifying because I didn't see those comments at the time yesterday because the chat had frozen. I wish I had time to be a judgmental fucker, says Chris. Yeah, they're always from a negative perspective. Yeah, if you get 1 deck and use it, how is it different to someone who has 100? You're a tarot user, reader. Yeah, like you said, no one says it about books, right? And you know, it's true. Like I was saying, I was buying, and I do think I got to a point where it was like I want to do walkthroughs for my channel, and I was buying, and I was getting FOMO, and I think maybe a little bit of me was trying to fill some kind of void for me. But I recognized that and I stopped it. Like if I was happy, and you know what, even if someone is buying to fill a void and and they can afford it and it's not causing harm, otherwise they're not putting themselves in debt or, you know, anything like that, then like it's not hurting anyone. Who gives a flying rat's ass? Like, just mind your own beeswax, as they say, right? It's odd that people feel the need to comment at all, really. What on earth does someone else's preference and anything have to do with you? Well, I think the problem is because they say, well, you're on YouTube putting yourself out there, so you should just deal with it without unasked for opinions. Candy's popped up. Hey, hi, Candy. I love that you've got the bear again. And then purple hearts. Like purple and green are my 2 favourite colours. So, yay. Tarot and tattoos. I so agree. My husband loves tools. I've missed that, I think. My daughter has a shoe collection to match Imelda Marcos. My mum collects art, no different. Yeah, me and my husband, we collect art and put it up on our hallway wall. We haven't bought any for a good while, though. I am sorry you have people to the world seeing that. Let's see. What else? What's that thing like? Everyone's fighting a battle you know nothing about. So, you know, always try to be kind. Yeah, what Jen said, basically. Let's see. Meow, 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 meow. Let's see, I have to look at people's... I love looking at people's tarot collections as well. It is like looking at an art museum. Willow Moon Witch. Hello, Willow Moon Witch. You like my glasses chain? Thank you. With my little skulls on it. It's been so great to like not lose my glasses for 3 weeks now. Hi, Kathy. You're right, love. Antoinette Intuitive Tarot and Jewellery. Lovely to see you. Woman Who Sees. Hello. Everyone, Kelly, I can't wait to get some of your earrings. Thank you. I won't be putting earrings in the shop just yet because I'm still perfecting my fine sewing for like writing and stuff. I need to do a couple of samplers and get my letter sewing back up to scratch. And I know that people were asking for pouches. So pouches is what I focused on. My shop will also eventually be a mixture of stuff. Pouches, cloths, earrings, bookmarks, patches, brooches, hair accessories, random stuff, because my shop was originally an accessories shop, and then people started asking about pouches, so I was like, oh, I'll just chuck them on my Etsy shop, and then somehow it just turned into a pouch shop, but that's not really just what I do. Puttering, lots of people puttering about. We say pottering here in the UK, pottering, or Kat says, Kat Widowson, if she's still in the group, says bimbling about, which I quite like. Exactly right, Kelly. I can only speak for myself, but I'm not looking for the one as I have the one. I'm just enjoying adding new voices to my practice and my collection. See, it makes you happy. Like, who cares? Meow, meow, meow. Hang on, it's really hard to scroll without a bunch of them all just rushing past and me missing them. I think it's not so much the deck as how you apply your ability to read them. Exactly, Antoinette. That's what I would think I was trying to get in a very long-winded, windbaggy way. There's you know, that's me, I guess. Oh, Jen's thinking about making a coffee. What kind of coffee? Hi, Sea Willow, Herbs and Tarot. Jen, you're right, Junebug. Kayla Green, hello. Like therapy, you can see a therapist 100 times, but it will do absolutely nothing if you're not prepared to do the work. It's that phrase again, it's the work, and it's like, oh, because we can be so resistant to the work, but you know, you gotta do the work, folks. You know, if you want that 6-pack, you gotta do the work. If you want to see a therapist and get something out of it, you gotta do the work. You want to learn to play the guitar, Spanish guitar, flamenco guitar, God, you got to put in a lot of work, you know, and you're going to suck a lot. You're going to make a lot of mistakes. And I think people think that's actually an interesting thing about tarot. Like when I was younger, when I first got my tarot deck, my Osho Zen, I was so excited. I remember getting home and getting into my bedroom and closing the door. I didn't have to hide it. Like my mum really didn't. She already knew that I was getting into witchy stuff, and she was like, "Oh, do whatever you want." My mum's pretty chill. I mean, this is the woman that let me watch Aliens when I was about 9, so she's a massive horror fan. I ended up being one too, and I remember tearing open the packaging. So like I still remember that moment, and like opening, I still remember the shape of the book and lifting that out and that feel of the book, and then getting the cards out and going through them. And then I read the book cover to cover. I just almost inhaled it with the excitement, like in pretty much one sitting. And then as soon as I had done that, I just dived straight in and did the key spread that's in the book, and that was my most used spread. Actually, I can grab it here. If I got the Osho Zen book here, look at this. Bloody hell, this book will be at least 24 years old. Oh dear. So there's a spread in the back. Look at this, is so messed. Like it's so you can see like it's properly bashed up. The cover is, the plastic is peeling off the cover. It's so old. But there's a spread in here. It's diamond, flying bird, the key. This was like my most used spread for like 3 years straight. I fucking loved this spread so much. Like just even looking, it makes me smile. But I would just dove straight in. I wasn't overthinking it. And it's funny, when I came back to tarot after quite a hiatus, I think I keep thinking when I finally packed my tarot decks away, and actually it was probably around 2000, and I didn't really read them regularly for a chunk of the late noughties. And then I didn't dust them off again till about 2012, 2013. So I always say I had a break of about 11 years because I was reading really regularly until I was about 21, 22, around the time I finished my degree. But actually, I still read them on and off. It was only when I think around 2009, I got really hardcore like atheist, and from between 2009 until I started watching Kellyanne Maddox's channel in about 2012, 2013 beginning, it would either have been the end of 2012 or the beginning of 2013, I actually packed them away. So really it wasn't an 11-year break. It was an 11-year break from reading them all the time and for other people all the time, but really from reading them all together it would have actually only been about 3 or 4 years. They have been a big part of my life, but when I came back to them, I just got them out of the attic. I do that because the attic door is just opposite my bedroom door. And I started to overthink, right? Like I had gotten rid of a bunch of my tarot books, not all of them, but a bunch of them. So I started rebuying books, and then I started buying more decks. And because I realized that the Smith-Waite was a thing and there was all these systems, I'm like, oh my God, I know nothing. And I just overthunk is that a term? And got myself so overwhelmed. And I even made a video back in 2016, I think, called Tarot Overwhelm, about how I just overthink it. And I when I was younger, I read the book and then I got stuck in. I love that I still read the book though, because that's how much of a nerd I am. I'm still like a do-gooder and a rule. I wasn't a rule breaker back then. You know, so, but yeah, I don't know I can't remember what my point was, but I was just thinking about like digging in, just get stuck in. I don't know what my point was, but you know what I mean? Meow, 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 meow. The tablet is playing. Poor Sam's been having problems getting in and out of the group, the chat. Tablet is playing up, trying to type, says Candy. Marsha Antoinette says the art for me is an added extra accent to the cards, and I enjoy using my different options. That's the thing, right? Like for me, I was talking about in my getting rid of decks video that some of my decks they feel like double ups or triple ups or quadruple ups of a gap that's already filled in my collection, and I never reach for them because I always reach for my favorite one that plugs that gap or covers that base. Do you know what I mean? Like with my animal decks, I always pick my Tower of the Magical Forest, and although it's not an animal deck in the traditional sense, like maybe the Anima Mundi or the Animal Wisdom, which I think are the only two other animal decks that I own, it's just the one that calls to me, and probably because it is basically a Smith-Waite a Smith-Waite clone, but make it cute, make it extra cute. Candy says, love these lives. Thank you. That means a lot, because I just, every time I get off of the live, I'm like, Jesus, what a fucking load of waffle that was. What am I chatting about? I get so caffeinated. I don't know what I'm saying. Melanie Jane. Hello, Kelly. Hello, all. Hello. Lovely to see you. Let's see. I bought a chain, Kelly. Not the skull one, but the same site as you. Oh, cool. Awesome sauce. I hope you enjoy. Woman Who Sees says it's okay. I can wait. What was that you can wait for, lovely? Were you asking me something, sweetie? It's always just instant coffee, Kelly. I don't do fancy. Oh my God, no. Jen, sacrilege. See, for me, I think because I don't drink coffee very often because it really exacerbates my anxiety, and I'm like super sensitive to caffeine. I don't know if you've noticed. And so when I do have a coffee, it has to be like, so I've got a mocha pot, like the Italian coffee maker. I haven't been making coffee at home though. I can't wait for the day when I can sit in a cafe with a oat milk flat white and a vegan almond croissant and a book and my sketchbook, and like just read and sketch and people watch, and just it will happen. It will happen one day. I remember seeing Alien. I was 15 and managed to sneak in. Never been so scared. Hid behind the man in front of me. Oh, you went to see it at the cinema? Wow, that's so fucking cool. Oh, that would be so cool. I went to see Aliens at the Royal Albert Hall, where they screened it up on a screen, a projector screen, and then they had I think it was the London Philharmonic Orchestra play the score live. It was amazing. It was an anniversary present from my husband. And then at the end, James Cameron, Sigourney Weaver, and the woman who played the girl Newt all came out at the end, and I just was like, because Sigourney Weaver is like, oh my God, she's a hero of mine, purely through just like her in Alien and Alien, well, the Alien franchise, but Alien and Aliens mostly. Let's see. Good morning, Robin. How you doing? Tammy Pie, just waffling. Could be a professional waffler. Like if I could get paid to just waffle, drink tea and waffle, I think I would like excel at that job. Like I really would. I think I would like rise up the ranks super quick. Light of Subconscious Mind. Hello. Lovely to see you. It was The Exorcist, Marsha, for you. I've seen The Exorcist. I didn't see The Exorcist until my late teens, I think, and I watched it and was like, it's not scary. I legit laughed through a lot of it, but I can imagine back in the day, like it would have been very, very scary. And actually rewatching it as a bit more of a horror buff these days, I can really see that they did a really, really great job. But I know the director, he very problematic, and actually both Linda Blair and what's her name, who played her mum, oh my God, what's her name, I'm blanking, they both ended up with injuries because of the way that he treated them on set. He sort of pushed them without, anyway, that's a whole other thing. Halloween. Oh God, I love Halloween. I love Jamie Lee Curtis as well. She's another fave of mine. I finally nabbed a Dirty Pam yesterday. Oh my God, you did! Like, was it the newer version where it's borderless, or is it? Or are they doing a bordered version again? But someone said the cardstock's slightly different. Or am I remembering that? Simon will know. He's all up on that, because I've got the very, very first Dirty Pam that came out, and I trimmed mine. but part of me would kind of like a version with the board. I'm getting more back into borders again. Who knew? Thoth, borders, pipdacks. What is going on? Oh, you can wait for the earrings. Okay, sorry, woman who sees. Excellent. Yeah, I'll always keep everyone updated with what's going on. But all of the earrings that I've sewn so far, I will be keeping for myself purely because they're not up to my standard that I would want to sell to people, because I want you all to have the best. Oh, the remake of The Thing. Do you mean the John Carpenter remake of the original 50s version? Because for me, the John Carpenter's version of The Thing is like the perfect version. They did sort of a reimagining version like about 10 years ago, which I watched, and it was just awful. So yeah, John Carpenter all the way. That ending, oh my God, it's such a good film. It's such a good film. Love it. Totally got confused last night, and in my mind I thought you meant Blushing for Robin. Oh, he was talking about the Dirty PM. Dirty PM. Wow, Robin went to see Alien at a midnight showing in a rat-infested theatre. I've never been so scared in my life with the rats running around. Oh my God, that sounds terrifying. That does sound terrifying, and I like rats, but I think they could be a bit more scary with the when they're like street rats, wild rats. I had a franchise back to front. That's the thing, right? When I first saw Alien 3 and then Alien 4, the like resurrection one, I thought both of those were kind of bit pants. But actually, when you see stuff like AVP and like Covenant and Prometheus, I don't know, Ridley Scott should have just left that all alone. I'm just like, you watch Alien 3 and Alien Resurrection, you're like, actually these are pretty good in comparison. And I do love a bit of Ron Perlman, and is it Gary Dourdan in Alien Resurrection, and Brad Dourif's in it. I love him. So yeah, there's some good performances in that. Meow meow meow. You could start a regular bit called Waffles and Tea and Waffles. Tarot and waffles, waffles and tarot. Witchy waffles. Waffles. I've still got a slice of pizza. This was my lunch. I had a couple of slices of leftover pizza from last night, but I couldn't eat all of them because I got full up. I mean, like even for lunch. But like now I'm like thinking about waffles. Might make waffles for breakfast tomorrow. The mini is bordered again, Simon says. Haha. Oh, Ellen Burstyn, that's it. Thank you, Robin. My mind was doing such. Yeah, she broke her spine, and they did sort of. I know that Linda Blair got hurt as well. Really not cool. Tarot and Jewellery. That book looks interesting. Which book looks interesting, Marsha? Insidious 2 and 3, watched these the last 5 years. It was daytime and it managed to give me the heebie-jeebies. Yeah, I didn't find them that scary, the Insidious ones. I liked Sinister. I thought that was quite good. I enjoyed that. It takes a lot to unnerve me. I've watched so much horror over the years that I'm like, nah. This afternoon it's going to be an Alien binge watch. Yes, do it. John Carpenter with Kurt Russell was brilliant. Yeah, agreed. It's the best one. The Prometheus was so bad. It was so embarrassing. I went to see it at the cinema. I was so excited. Oh, sweet summer child. I was so excited. I went with some friends and we walked out. We all were like, what the fuck was that pile of shite? Jesus. Awful. The scientists that were then were like that guy that was like poking stuff, like as a scientist, one scientist running away from things, the guy that was meant to like map the system got lost. They were all completely useless. This whole thing, the best thing about it was Fassbender, let's be honest. I don't even know what bloody Idris was doing. It's just no Idris. I love you, but no. They have a new version. I do not like it as much. Which was that, Marsha? Yeah, I quite enjoy Alien 3 nowadays. You know, it's got a bit of Charles Dance in it. I like a bit of Charles Dance, and it's actually a really interesting commentary. The way that they're all like prisoners, but they've made them monk prisoners. Yeah, it's cool. Good stuff. The book was Bare Bones Tarot. There's a book called Bare Bones Tarot. Is there? I've not heard of that, I don't think. What was the prison planet? Yeah, that's the prison planet one, Tammy. Can you cast spells on people? That is a genuine question. Hello, I remember you asking that question the other day. You probably could, but probably ethically not that great. Depends on what you mean by casting a spell on someone. Alien 3 was crap compared to the first two. Yeah, like it's not as strong as the first two for sure. But then, I thought 3 and 4 were crap. But then you watch them with hindsight with the horror films that have come out since, including the reboots and the AVP films. And it's just like, in space, nobody can hear you scream. Oh my God, it's so good. Fun fact, I was once inside John Hurt's London house a few years ago before he died. That was a weird makeup job. Have you watched his new TV show? I didn't know he had a new TV show. Oh my goodness. I already have the Blushing Fool. I own the Dirty Pam, Cardstock, Fine Borders. Alien or Aliens? I am going to say I like both the Alien and Aliens equally. I find Aliens I rewatch more often. I have to be in a very specific mood to watch Alien because obviously it's a lot slower. It's more of a thriller. There's a real slow burn there. Whereas with Aliens, it's very much an action film. You've got a lot more like breakout stars. You've got like Vasquez and Hicks and Hudson. They're like, they're really like fun characters to sort of bounce off. You've got what's his chops? Oh my God, Burke. Is it Burke? Being a Burke, very aptly named. So I feel like, R.I.P. Bill Paxton. I absolutely loved Bill Paxton. Yeah, he did that. He did like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. not long before he died. I was so gutted because his character was like he made a good baddie. But I like both. In John Hurt's house, nobody can hear you scream. I'd hope someone would be able to hear me scream, but in there. But yeah, I've been in John Hurt's house. Well, what was John Hurt's house because obviously he's dead now, and used John Hurt's toilet because obviously I needed to pee at some point during the job, and I was like, my life is weird. Patici book. Oh, the Patici one. Vincent Patici. Love a bit of Patici. He's great, isn't he? So hi Kat. I was thinking of rewatching. Hello Leanne, you're right. Earth Girls Are Easy. Oh, who doesn't love a little bit of the Goldblum as well? Another one. Yeah, John Hurt died, Simon. Did you not know? I was really upset because he was in like one of my favorite films. Like literally one of my favorite films in the entire world is Alien. Like at least a few years ago. 2017. Yeah, 4 years ago. Thought so. 4 years ago, 2017, January. Yeah, because I remember it being the day after my birthday, and I was really, really upset because I really like John Hurt's acting. Gina Davis. Speaking of potentially scary toilets, did you see Dreamcatcher? Oh God, that's going back. I've not seen that for a long time. I like how he shows every card in each position of the Celtic cross and how they relate. Yeah, it's his go-to spread. Yeah, I'm not a Celtic cross fan, but I can listen to him talk for days about the tarot just because, he's been around the block a few times and he's just really interesting. And yeah, I don't agree with all of the things that he says or all the spreads that he, the way that he uses spreads, but it's always interesting, right? So yeah, he was a great actor. And it was interesting because when I was in his house, I was actually working for someone else who was staying there and he wasn't there. And I was in this living room and I could see these paintings. I was like, oh, that guy in the painting looks like John Hurt. That guy in the painting looks like John Hurt. Then I saw photos around on like the coffee table and on the side table. I'm like, that looks like John Hurt. Anyway, my client had to go to the loo. And so I sort of went over to the fireplace and all across, because there was loads of awards on the fireplace. And as soon as I got like a few steps away from the fireplace, I could see there were like BAFTAs and other awards. And it said John Hurt. And I was like, oh no, this is John Hurt's house. Weird. Yeah, his portrayal of Quentin Crisp, yeah. Oh my God, Le Terre, Le Toile Caché. Oh, that's on my list as well, Marsha. It's so beautiful, isn't it? Don't forget the Elephant Man. Yeah, it's good in that. So yeah. Let's see. I think I'm up to date with the chat. I apologize if I've missed anyone's comments or questions. But if you do have questions, I guess I'll do a Simon and go, just tag me and do it in all caps or summit. Oh yeah, Marsha, about Vincent Petici. I'll pop it up because I've got follow him. Hang on, excuse me. Burpee McBurpington. Search lady. Vincent Petici. Meow 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 meow. Do 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 do. There we go. I'll link his YouTube for you. There we go. Or Sabbat. There we go. There's his. That's the one. So yeah, so wow, that was a film chat. So I covered those two things. I haven't even got onto the things that I was going to talk about in my title, and we're already 50 minutes in. Oh dear. So first of all, I just wanted to say happy new moon. Should have done that at the top because I didn't think I was going to ramble for so long, but happy new moon. And the reason that I went live, even though I wasn't originally going to go live, was because I was listening to the latest episode of the New World Witchery podcast, which is one that I enjoy very much. And they were talking about they do like this book clubby type thing, and they were talking about a couple of chapters in Moira. Is it Moira? I was going to say Moira Rose from Schitt's Creek, not Moira Rose. Schitt's Creek on the brain. Moira. Oh, bugger me! Hang on, I need to get a book out because I can't. Moira. Oh, I've got her tarot books here as well. Hang on. And Moira. But they were looking at the couple of chapters from the second one. And I used to have the second one, but I think I lent it to someone years ago and they didn't give it back. Which is why I don't lend books out anymore. Because 9 times out of 10, they never came back to me. I'm like, no, stop taking my books. Yeah, they were talking about a couple of chapters, and one of the chapters was about gods and goddesses and the idea of the triple goddess and how it's actually quite a new idea. It goes back to sort of the turn of the 20th century. And it's not actually as old as people think it is, and that it can also be problematic. But what they were also talking about was the Wheel of the Year, and this is something that I was speaking about. If not last year, because I wasn't making that many videos, but the year before, because I was talking about restructuring my practice and breaking it all down and building it back up. And they were talking about, like, so Corey, who is one of the presenters of New World Witchery, he lives in a part of the United States that has 4 seasons. So he gets the 4 classic seasons that you see in the Wheel of the Year, obviously spring, summer, autumn, winter. Whereas is it Lane? I can never remember the name of the woman that presents it. For some reason her name never sticks in my head, but she lives in the southern United States, and she said she has 2 seasons, not 4, and those 2 seasons seem to be, oh my God, it's so hot, I'm gonna die, and here comes the wind. So she said for her, that the sort of the classic Wheel of the Year, which again was a sort of late 19th century, early 20th century invention. It's not an ancient thing. It's a new thing that was sort of cobbled together from a bunch of stuff. It's basically a sort of recreated or sort of recombinated sort of belief system cobbled together with a bunch of stuff. And obviously they were purporting back in the day that it was ancient because they wanted to get this feel of authenticity. But just because something's new doesn't mean that it's not authentic or that it's not going to be useful for people or help people. It's not going to help people. So it was interesting because The Wheel of the Year, it's very based on a very specific part of Europe, weather patterns, and it doesn't fit for everyone, which is the thing that I found as well, like even here in the UK. So we're in March now, and March is a tricky one because you can have snow. We've had real like gale force winds the last few days and rain. But then earlier this week, it was actually quite warm. And I think it got up to about 15 or 16 degrees Celsius. So March is a tricky one. December, which was like, you've got the 21st of December, you've got Yuletide or the winter solstice, which was midwinter, is not the coldest part of the year. But I remember back in the 80s, it's snowing a lot at Christmas, and there's the photos to prove it. The photos that my mum has of me and my sister at Christmas in the 80s, a lot of the time it's snowing. If we got something to play with in the garden, or she'd dress us up in our little like romper suits and let us run around in the garden, and it's snowing. You're like, and I can't remember the last time we had snow in December. So because of global climate change, it feels like the seasons are sort of been shunted along slightly. So you get slightly warm autumnal weather, that more autumnal weather sort of in December, and actually March can still be quite cold. So I think it's important that when you're following a Wheel of the Year, that you're making it work for you. I mean, if you're prescribed to a specific system, a specific practice within a specific rate, like whether you're a Gardnerian Wiccan or something, that might be a bit different. But if you're building your own path, make it work for you, right? So for me, now where's my phone? Hang on. I've been playing with the idea of renaming some of the Sabbats because, some of the names that are used today, they're just sort of a grab bag. They don't, hang on. So I'm just trying to find the actual, where is it? Oh God, am I going to be able to find the notes now? I did write a note. Meow, 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 meow. Am I going to be able to find it? That's going to be sad. Oh, here we go. The Wheel. It's literally named Wheel. So, for example, you've got Imolc, Ostera, Beltana, Letha, Lunasa, Mabon, Samhain, and Yule, right? They're the traditional 8 Sabbats. But they might not work for you. Also, it's a very sort of Britannic framework, which might not work for you. So I was trying to come up with different names, and what gave me this idea originally was there's a guy that does I think his name's Mark Green. He does a blog called Atheopaganism, so it's about being an atheist but a pagan, a neo-pagan, and he renamed a bunch of the holidays so that it sort of had more of a secular feel for him, which is, fair enough. But then also a while back, I think it was towards the end of 2019, I was reading Besom, Stang and Sword, and I know that Kat Widdowson had read it as well, which is by the people who do the Down at the Crossroads podcast, which I also recommend, which is Chris Orapello and Tara Love Maguire. I'll see if I can find that for you, so you can see what it looks like. I did review it last year along with a couple of other books, but it looks like this. And I don't follow the path of witchcraft, their practice, but they talk about how they formulated their own path and their own Wheel of the Year geared to their particular area and their particular climate and what goes on in their area. So they live near the Pine Barrens, and so it's all geared to that area, and they're working with their local land spirits and their local plants, and that's what makes it more potent, right? Because it becomes more personal. It becomes it's more contained within your area. That's when I was talking about earlier this week, when I use plants that are native to my area, whether I am foraging for them myself or whether I am buying them from a local herbalist or whatever, because it's more potent, and also it makes sense. It makes environmental sense. But the best medicine is the stuff that's closest to you, because your body is acclimatized to that, right? So yeah, I came up with some ideas for new names, and obviously these are things because of the way that I see those Sabbats. they may not work for you, but I just thought it'd be fun to share. I'm actually just gonna have a quick look again through the chat, because otherwise it ends up getting a bit unwieldy going through them. Yeah, Jen, like I only lend books if I'm okay about getting them back, without getting them back. Yeah, same. Hi Remco, you all right, my love? I'd rather give someone a book. Yeah, that's the thing. No, I have given people books in the thing, like I know, like I want you to have this. I've definitely done that. I've done that with tarot decks as well. But yeah, different keep it. It's because I want to reread it sometime. Yeah, that's interesting, because I quite happily give away fiction a lot of the time, but reference books are my babies because I reference them. So yeah, I'm less willing to give reference books. I'll tell a lie. I did lend a couple of tarot books a couple of years ago to one of my friends, and she did give them back. But she only lives down the road, so it was a lot easier. Do they use a different wheel of the year? They flip it, right? Because so then instead of Yule, it's Midsummer, isn't it? It's Letha, because the seasons are the other way around. Yeah, same wheel, just the opposite. So, but then it's like, does it fit for Australia and Australia's climate? And surely it makes sense to be, when you look at like things like we start to pull in Druidry and the trees that are associated with things like Druidry and witchcraft, and they're all like very UK or sort of the mainland Europe based at a push. And it's like, it's a very myopic view. It's become the most prevalent. And I think it's really interesting now that we're seeing more and more people building their own witchcraft practices from what works for them within their local area, but also more people exploring something that's closer to their own. Like you see lots of brujas and curanderas all over Instagram and Twitter, and it's really great to see people sort of learning those traditions. And it's just really cool. Like you realize, when I was younger, I just thought a witch, that I had a very narrow idea of what a witch meant or what it was, but actually it's far broader and far more interesting. And not even everyone uses the term witch. And I was saying that yesterday as well. Meow, meow, meow. My birthday's December 10th. There were always snow on the ground. Now we rarely see snow. Yeah. Yeah, the weather's all weird. You never had snow in the Midlands when you were... Oh my God, really? We had snow in London all the time, which is weird, because I would imagine that you would have snow the further north you go. But again, it just depends which wind is coming in, I guess. Weird. I feel like global warming has moved the seasons too for us. Yeah, it seems to have shifted along a wee bit, doesn't it, for some areas? Yeah, January and February we get snow now. I started a new journal to track my daily readings and tracking moon and sun cycles on the base of the astrological sun placements. Yeah, like I follow the Wheel of the Year, and I use an app called Deluxe Moon, which I've been using for years. It was recommended by Kelly Fitz at The Truth in Story. So this is it here. It's really good, and you can like click on different things. It'll bring like moon in Pisces, moon's rise, moon's set. It's really cool, but I just use it in a very basic way because I'm not into sort of astrology, and I find the whole moon in this and new moon in that and full moon in this. I'm like, and I know it's the whole like decans and things like that, but the decans, but I find it really, really like it makes my brain melt. So I just use it in a very basic bitch way. So look at that, 0%. It is a proper new moon or dark moon, as I usually actually call it a dark moon. Dun, 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 dun. But yeah, I don't follow it, but it's anyway, I was talking about wheels and I need to find that. Sorry, Remco. But yeah, that's cool that you're doing that. How are you finding that so far, was what I was going to say. Is it working for you? And just out of interest, if you want to answer. Let's see. Mark Green's Atheist and Pagan blog, Atheopaganism. Yes, Leanne, that's it. And I think he had a book of essays as well that came out. Traditional folklore and land magic. Exactly, Antoinette. That's exactly what I mean. Bye, Junebug. You take care. For sure. I hang on to much less fiction, only really if it's had a significant impact, or I think I'll come back. Non-fiction I'm much more likely to hold on to. Oh, Tarot and Tattoo says they've just managed to upload their first speaking video and they hate their voice. Do you know what? Hard same. It took me a really long time to get used to hearing my own voice back to me. But because I've been doing it for so many years, I'm so used to it, I just don't really think about it anymore. So you'll get used to it, don't worry. Hello, Lightning Equus. How are you doing? Haven't seen you for a while either. I can't even comprehend being freezing at Christmas. I can never live somewhere super cold. Yeah, it doesn't get super duper cold here. There are parts of the United States that get way colder than we do here. We don't actually get that particularly cold here in the UK by most people's standards, which is funny. But yeah, but it still feels cold to me because it gets cold, but not for long. It's like short snaps of frostiness. Cold makes me cranky as well, Jen. So I always need my hot water bottles and my snuggly things. It's warm and cozy though. Yeah, it does get cozy, you know, when it gets dark and you've got your hot chocolate and stuff. Snow makes everything quiet. Yeah, when everything is blanketed in snow and everything just looks sparkly and magic, and the sky, everything looks really bright, you know, that snow blindness, but everything looks really magical and twinkly until obviously you know, the cars are driving along the roads and people are trudging along the pavements and it goes all slushy and gross. But like if you're looking out over the back of my house and looking over people's gardens, and you can see everything looks really lovely. So yeah, but yeah, so names for Sabbats. So Imbolc, also known as Candlemas in Christian traditions, you could call New Light or First Light, although I felt like First Light was probably more of a sort of Yuletide thing, because obviously that's when the days start to get lighter again, isn't it? But I thought New Light because I don't know. So we're workshopping them. So then I thought Ostera, we could go with Thor Frost. And the reason is because the seasons are shifting along. So Easter this year is in the beginning of April. But let's just see. Let me just see. So I'm just trying to find a link to it because the equinox shifts, but because Ostera is the spring equinox, it doesn't move around in quite the same way as bumholes. Sorry, not as bumholes. I was trying to click on a thing and it wouldn't work. Hang on, sorry. Hang on, spring equinox 2021. Saturday the 20th March. See? So what's that? Next weekend, isn't it? So it doesn't move about as much, and we're still at risk of getting like frost and really cold weather. We've been having storminess. So Thor Frost felt better for me. It's a bit less. It doesn't really work if it would move around like Easter does, because sometimes Easter is like in the third week of April, because they do that whole like moon thing with Easter. And it's always confused me the way they move it about. But yeah, I thought Thor Frost. Let's see. Love it, but my mind is more oriented. Use Thoth in combo with traditional Hellenistic astrology. Awesome. I like it. Just blows my mind. Like it just doesn't sink in. I'm such a little like folksy, gremlin-y, bog witchy. I'm just like, just give me sticks and mud. I'm good. And plants. Anything else and my brain starts to like freak out because it's like so much to remember. I can't get my head around it. I'm always impressed by people that can like do all that stuff. New moon for the first full moon of the new astrological year, hence made my new journal today. Oh, of course, you were saying it was today, and I'm like, how is it going for you? And you're like, well, I just started it, silly. Oh, you got a package, Simon. That sounded really weird. Simon's package. What did you get? So yes, we've got New Light for Imbolc, Ostera, Thorfrost. For Beltana, I thought High Spring. I don't know if that really works, but it's like, you know, like high summer or high, like it's like the height, isn't it? It's like May Day. It's that it's like peak spring, yeah. So I don't know if that works. And then for Letha, midsummer works fine for me because it literally is midsummer, and it's, again, for me, those quarters, the equinoxes and the solstices, they make much more sense most of the time for me to celebrate because they are actual astronomical events, whereas the cross quarters are, they're not quite so much of an astronomical event, but you can prize my Samhain from my cold dead hands, quite frankly, because that will always be my baby. So for Lunasa, I was thinking Grain Fest, because I was like, well, it could just be like harvest, but then we've got a couple of harvest festivals, so that really works. So I thought Grain Festival, because you got the baking of the bread, the harvesting. I don't know. For Mabon, I was thinking just autumn equinox, keep it simple. For Samhain, which I do like the term Samhain, but I was like dark tide. I don't know, because there's something that happens as October swings around. I get very excited for a start because I celebrate Halloween. Well, it's spooky season all year for me, but like it goes up a notch in October, and I call the whole month of October Weenmas. Or just spooky season. And but I quite like the idea of dark tide, because then that's when the darkness really starts to settle in, right? The clocks have already gone back. They went back in September. It's really starting to creep in. You've got the darkness of like just the idea of the darkness of turning inwards, and for winter, that dark tide is turning, it's coming in. So I quite like that idea. And then for Yule, I full on went like Dungeons and Dragons with this one specifically. I don't know if it's a thing within Dungeons and Dragons entirely, but for Critical Role, which is a Dungeons and Dragons game that I watch on YouTube, they have a land that the characters exist within called Wildmount. And there is a particular area of Wildmount that celebrates a winter festival, and that winter festival is called Winter's Crest. And I don't know if Matt Mercer, who is the dungeon master for Critical Role, I don't know if that's something that he came up with, or if that's just a general more like D&D thing. But I really like that, Winter's Crest. It makes sense, right? It's midwinter. It's the crest of the, and then back to new light. I don't know. So that is the framework I'm starting to sort of play with. And, we all have our favourite Sabbats, those of us that follow the Wheel of the Year. Like I said, the quarters hold much more significance for me because they are astronomical events. And sometimes those, the way that we all celebrate them is different. And actually, that's another thing that I wanted to talk about, because that New World Witchery episode that I was listening to, they the presenters then go on to talk about not only how they make their own Wheel of the Year and how they make it work for them, but also they go on to talk about how they celebrate the Esbats and the Sabbats, and what they personally do. So Corey, he talks about what he likes to do. For him, the new moon or the dark moon feels very much like a sensual energy thing that he didn't really want to go into too much on the podcast, which is fair enough. That's his personal practice. But he also said it feels more like a time for divination. He said obviously any time to do divination is whenever you want, but he said for like that introspective, reflective kind of divination, he likes the new moon or the dark moon to do that. Whereas his co-host, she was saying that she actually, her big monthly reading she does on a full moon, because it feels, for her, that feels right. There's no right or wrong, right? Just whatever works for you. So I thought that was interesting. They just talked about what they did on the full moons and the dark of the moon, and then a little bit about their Sabbats. Like some Sabbats, I'm like bells, whistles, chanting, the full Monty, right? And then other times it is as simple as sitting down at my altar, lighting a candle, saying like a little poem, whether I've written that myself or a poem that I found, and like just setting an intention or just giving some offerings of like incense and whatever else. It can be as big or as huge. big or as little as you want, big or as huge, big or as little as you want it to be. Same with the Sabbat. We're same with the Sabbats, right? So yeah, it's interesting. I don't know what does this make any sense? I don't know. Am I just waffling about for no reason? Let's see. It's from Edinburgh. Guessing Compendium of Witches. What's the Compendium of Witches, Simon? Kelly on YouTube, the Aethiopia. Oh, he's got a channel now. I didn't realise he had a channel, Leanne. Thank you for letting me know. I've not read the blog for ages. Beltona is May Day for me. Yeah, Meld at May Day. So my husband, he's not spiritual or religious in any way. For him, May Day is still like workers' rights. So that's what he always sort of associates May Day with. Dark Tide is a great phase. It just sounds, I don't know, I think it's the goth in me. I'm like, Dark Tide. It's a bit dramatic. Tonight we are gathered here, us witches, to celebrate the Sabbat of Dark Tide. Dun dun dun. Samhain, Skinny Veil. I like that. Falcon Crest. Do you remember that show? Falcon Crest. I remember that from the 80s. Oh my god. Winter's Crest sounds cool. I'm good with Yule as yeah, I like Yule as well because I don't like a consumerist Christmas as well. I do like Yule, but the little like D&D nerd in me is like Winter's Crest does sound pretty badass though, doesn't it? Does anybody use Saturnalia? My liver would not even be able to cope with Saturnalia. That shit lasts days, Robin. I mean, in an ideal world. Oh, a Kickstarter came about after the success of the book. What's the Compendium of Witches? My compute. Compendium of a Compendium of Riches. That would be nice. I'm going to give it a goog, as Julie would say. Compendium of Witches. It's an oracle, don't you know? I don't know where that came from. Sorry. Whoa, extreme close up. Oh, hang on. It's Etsy. Oh, it's an art book. It's an art book. Mew, 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 mew. What is that? This shop is taking a short break. I want to look at this listing. What? I've seen that there's that, you know, that oh no, hang on. No, it won't let me look at the listing. Buttholes. Oh well. It was worth a look. I'm sure it is awesome. Anyway, bloody hell. That was a lot. That was a lot, wasn't it? But you're all still here listening. I'm constantly like, what? Feels like it's going to rain again. Not feels, it looks like, feels like it's going to start chucking it down. Oh my God, I haven't drunk my tea. It's going to go cold. Chug, 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 chug. Right, okay. Cool, that was not as warm as I thought it was going to be. Right, should we do a little card draw from the... oh, don't tell me the internet dropped out again. Oh, no, there you are. Chug it, assist. Candy. Chug, chug, chug. So let's do a little bit of a card draw. This again, just for those of you that don't know what deck I'm... No, Belch, no, don't. But it might be coming, don't worry. Sorry to let you down, Simon. The affirmators, love and relationships. And by relationships and love, it can also mean self-love and friend relationships, family relationships, relationships with your dooblies, colleagues. That's the word I was looking for. Oh, I can feel the one brewing now, though, Simon. Now I've done that. Oof. Oof. Because usually they take me by surprise, don't they, Simon? So they end up burping and going, oh my God, where did that come from? But like I can feel one brewing. Rub my tummy. Butterfly more, still here, love the waffling, lacking the energy to talk. Oh, bless you, you poor thing. I hope you're not fit, you're just tired or you're just feeling a bit ropey. Oh, no, I can't. It's there, but it's not coming. So, oh, no. No, it's still not. Oh, the tension. A little bit of encouragement, a little bit of advice, a little bit of a pep talk. I don't know. This is a very sort of loving and supportive deck. It's the only affirmation deck I own out of over 100. In about. Can I use your words, Kelly? Slow down. Out of my entire collection of over 100 decks, I think I have about 110, maybe 115 decks at this rate. This is the only affirmation deck I own. I am not there's so many cute affirmation decks out there, but I start looking at the cards and then I'm I kind of want to be a bit sick in my mouth because it's just too trite and twee, or it's you need to stroke a unicorn and drink some rainbows, and I'm okay. It's just not me. I did see the person that created the Witchwood Oracle has one called the Strange Girls affirmation deck, and it makes me think of the kind of affirmation deck that Wednesday Addams would use, and I'm that's the kind of affirmation deck that I would use. Yeah, actually, tell a lie, I do have Arcane Bullshit, but I use that as an oracle. But yeah, it does have an affirmation-y feel, and I love the arcade. No, I haven't. I thought I'd accidentally shuffled in reversals, but I haven't. So yeah, so I don't really do affirmation decks, guys, because I'm just too cynical. Nothing wrong if people do want to. It's why I don't work with a lot of oracle decks. And the example I always give, which I know always makes James Feeney laugh, is there's always a fairy giving a unicorn a bubble bath and cards with words like majestic underneath, and you're what? You what, mate? What am I meant to do with this bloody thing? So you just put, yeah, I think they're a bit more helpful if you some people do readings, whole ass readings with oracle decks, and my little brain just needs the structure of tarot. It doesn't like it. It's no. I can pull an oracle card at the end of a reading, but I usually only pull the one. So I always go for a seltzer when I need to release the gas, but sometimes it's like releasing the Kraken. Release the Kraken. It makes me think of Clash of the Titans. Oh, I loved that film as a kid. So good. Bit of Maggie Smith. She's in it, isn't she? All Perseus and Caliban. Oh, it's so good. Even now, it is watching it, the effects are so cheesy now, but it's so charming. I was obsessed with that film. Anyone else watch Clash of the Titans? We are getting oracle or tarot. You're getting an affirmation card. I should, yeah, next time I do a live, I should pull the Arcane Bullshit out, shouldn't I? Because that is my kind of speed. I've been trying to find a Kraken for my aquarium for a long time. Love that movie. I'm assuming, Tadora, hello, that you mean a model of a Kraken rather than an actual Kraken, because releasing a sort of Leviathan upon the poor fishies in your tank might give them a bit of a shock. Okay. Ooh, nearly threw the whole bloody deck across the table then. Yes, of course. But also, if you do find a Kraken, let me know, like an actual Kraken, because I want to sell it. I want to unleash it on a certain prime minister, and the cabinet. Meow 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 meow. Right, levity is the card. No picture on this one. Let's read it. Laughter is the best legal medicine. That's making an assumption, but okay. And it looks like it's time for you to take a sweet, sweet hit of it. When someone annoys you or a plan goes awry, try finding something funny in there. And if you ever feel like the butt of the joke, remember that the only difference between someone laughing at you and someone laughing with you is that in the first version, you're not laughing. You always have the option, so opt to lighten up. It's legal in almost 200 countries. Bonus card. I would say, though, if you're the butt of someone's joke and that person is punching down at you, like someone that has there's a power imbalance there, then I would say punch that person metaphorically. in the face. Or maybe punch them in the face. I mean, it depends what the situation is, right? Context, huh? But yeah, I kind of agree with that, but also don't. Like, well, anyone who watches this channel knows I don't take myself seriously at all, probably sometimes to the detriment of myself. I'm like, okay. But yeah, that's the message for today. Levity. Well, maybe humility. I don't know. Best be getting cracking on the Kraken. Now I'm thinking of Kraken rum. Rum. Lightning Equa says, affirmation decks make me want to slap somebody. So I guess it's the Aquarius with Virgo. That's so funny. Yeah, I just think maybe I'm just not that kind of. I don't know. I do like smooshy things and I do like cute stuff, but there's something about certain decks that can be very twee and very trite and very like overly fluffy. I call it like the Colette Baron Reid like Doreen Virtue effect, and it just makes me feel a little bit sick in my mouth. And I'm like, and there's this like specific kind of artwork that's like really plastic and like skinny, like just skinny straight white people everywhere, and I'm like, they just all leave a bad taste in my mouth. Lively up yourself, don't be no drag. Yeah, Bob Marley. I always wonder about Hollywood horses. I owned the horse that placed Pegasus in both. Oh, no way. His name is Ronald and he's a Frisian. Oh my God. As in that place, what do you mean? You owned the horse that was... You actually been watching that film since I was a kid and watching that horse, and that horse belonged to you. That's just small world, huh? So anyway, I have been waffling on for almost an hour and a half. For those of you that have been here for the whole time, Simon, I'm looking at you. Oh my God, well done. I'm going to go drink some water. I need to rehydrate after all that caffeine. I might try and finish this last slice of cold pizza. And yeah, I might be joining a certain Mr. Simon later on a live. Oh my God, lives all round. It's just live-a-palooza for me this week. Oh, but this was fun. First I made this week, yeah. Because sorry, you've been at work, haven't you? And there's me here sitting here every sort of lunchtime-ish waffling on. So Tammy Pie, who's the character, really tries to get out of work. Is the horse still alive that played? Hang on, that played the horse. I'm confused, Lightning Aquarius. Is that horse still alive that was in the film? Because how old is that horse? Or is it the offspring of that horse? Because, oh my God, if he's still alive, it'd be like ancient. Oh, the remake. There was a remake? Sacrilege. What? When? Right, hang on. Sorry, I just got to check this. Clash of the Titans. Titans remake. What the dickens? 2010. Wow. I did not even know. I clearly scrubbed that from my memory. Gemma Atherton. Mads Mikkelsen is in it. And Ralph Fiennes and Liam Neeson. What? I bet it's not as good as the original though, right, guys? That's not going to be as good. Liam Neeson plays Zeus in the remake. Ah, wow. So Ronald is the one in the remake. Well, I don't mean to disparage the film. I'm sorry. I'm sure Ronald did an excellent job being a Pegasus. I mean, that's pretty epic, isn't it? It sucks. Nothing can compare to... I think the first Clash of the Titans is free on Amazon Prime USA right now. Claire. We taped it off the TV in the 80s when I was a kid. And I think it was on a channel that had ad breaks in between. Because on the BBC you don't have ad breaks because it's owned by the people. And you can see there's little blips in it where we tried to pause it and cut out the adverts, and then started press play again. And I watched that tape until, like, you know, when it gets the wobbly lines, certain films that I watched so much that were on VHS that just ended up falling apart. Like the quality went, because I watched them so much. And it was like Edward Scissorhands, Muppets Christmas Carol, Clash of the Titans, The Dark Crystal, Labyrinth, The Last Unicorn, Willow, Legend, Krull. You're spotting a theme here with the kind of stuff that I watched as a kid. Never-ending Story. Anyway, so yeah, that was an extra bit of waffle, because I was just like, I had no idea there was a remake. Hello, Linda. We're about to just about to sign off, my love. Tammy, all controversial. Tamo Pie is saying it's better, but it's going to be fighting against my entire life's worth of nostalgia of loving that film with all my heart. So I very much doubt it would be. Maybe objectively it's better, but subjectively the OG will always have my heart. So yeah, I'm gonna go because I need a wee, quite frankly, and I need to drink some water, and I need to I'm not going to do a mukbang and eat this whole slice of pizza. And I would also, I've got, oh crap, I just realised I need to hang the laundry. No, my husband's probably done that. The laundry's finished, but I imagine he's probably hung that out because the machine, I heard the machine beeping earlier. Anyway, boring stuff. I might see you later over on the Hermit's Cave if I manage to get my other little bits and pieces done. And that's at 4 p.m, cup of catch up and cards. And yeah, thank you so much for those of you that have been here today and listened to me waffle, as I like to say. And yeah, be safe, take care, and you too, Remco, and you must we then. I'll catch you later. Yeah, I don't want to pee on my own face. That would just be a whole level of like weirdness, wouldn't it? Always up for debate, yeah. But yeah, I might catch you later on t'other channel. So take care of yourselves all. I might see you later, and be good and stuff, or shit, and yeah. Ciao. Oh my word.